Elon Musk. You know the name, right? It feels like it's almost impossible to talk about the future of, well, anything, cars, space, social media, without his name coming up. But how on earth did one person end up dominating so many different and frankly incredibly difficult industries? Let's dig in and trace that path.
So that's really the big question we're tackling today. What does it take? Because this is a story of just insane ambition, taking monumental risks, and this obsessive drive to completely reshape our world. And it all starts thousands of miles away from Silicon Valley.
And I mean, look at the world he's reshaping. We're not just talking about one big idea. We're talking about this whole ecosystem of companies, and each one is trying to solve some of the biggest challenges you can even think of. We've got sustainable energy, space travel, AI, and even connecting our brains directly to computers. It's a lot.
Okay, so to really get how this all fits together, here's our roadmap. We're going to start with his early days back in South Africa, then jump to his first huge win with PayPal. From there, we'll look at the massive gambles on SpaceX and Tesla, see how his tech empire just kept growing. And finally, we'll talk about the super complex legacy he's building right now.
So, let's start at the beginning, and I mean the very beginning. Our story doesn't kick off in some fancy boardroom, but in Pretoria, South Africa, where the first seeds of this, technological obsession were planted. This timeline really shows you just how early his path was set. I mean, at 12 years old, he wasn't just playing video games, he was already coding and selling them. Then he leaves South Africa, makes his way to North America, and lands in a top-tier PhD program at Stanford, right as the internet was about to explode. But get this, he drops out after just 2 days. He bet that the real future wasn't in a classroom. It was in the dot-com boom. And that decision, that huge call to ditch Stanford, well, it threw him right into the heart of the dot-com frenzy. His goal was simple: build an internet business. And he didn't waste any time. Things started moving incredibly fast for him. He starts with Zip2, kind of like an online Yellow Pages, and sells it to Compaq for a fortune. He immediately rolls that cash into his next idea, X.com, which was all about changing online banking. That eventually merged with a rival and became the payment giant we all know today, PayPal.
And then comes the big one. In 2002, eBay swoops in and buys PayPal for a staggering $1.5 billion. Now, at this point, Musk could have just retired. He was a young dot-com millionaire, done. But instead, he took all that money and decided to bet everything on industries that pretty much everyone else thought were impossible.
So, with his internet money in the bank, he pivots hard. He goes from the world of software and code to the much, much harder world of physical atoms, rockets, and orbital mechanics. This was his first truly massive, some would say crazy, gamble.
You have to hear this. When SpaceX started back in 2002, this was its mission statement. It sounds like pure science fiction, right? I mean, making rockets cheaper is one thing, but making humanity a multiplanetary species? It was such a wild, audacious goal that it set them apart from every other aerospace company on the planet.
And yet, here we are. Fast forwards today, and that sci-fi dream has become a market reality. By figuring out how to reuse rockets, which was the holy grail, SpaceX completely changed the economics of getting to space. And now, it doesn't just compete, it completely dominates. It's responsible for more than half of all orbital launches in the entire world. That gamble? It paid off in a spectacular way.
Okay, so while he was literally trying to conquer the final frontier, he was also launching an assault on a century-old industry right here on Earth, the car world.
To really get Tesla's impact, you have to remember what electric cars used to be. They were kind of seen as these slow, uninspired, glorified golf carts with terrible range. Tesla completely flipped the script. They turned EVs into these high-performance, long-range, super desirable pieces of tech that all the legacy car companies are still scrambling to catch up with. Now, he didn't actually found Tesla, but he jumped in as a major funder in 2004 and became the driving force as CEO by 2008. From that first niche roadster to the game-changing Model S, and then finally to the mass-market Model 3 and Y, Tesla just methodically executed its master plan to bring electric cars to everyone. For Musk, it was always part of a much bigger mission for sustainable energy.
So, if completely disrupting the space and auto industries wasn't quite enough, Musk's ambition just kept growing, and he started branching out into even more futuristic, even more complex fields.
It just kept going. He folded solar energy into Tesla with SolarCity. He co-founded OpenAI before leaving to start his own AI rival. He started Neuralink to literally merge the human brain with AI, and the Boring Company to try and solve traffic with high-speed tunnels. It was pretty clear he wasn't just building companies anymore. He was trying to build an entire technological ecosystem.
And that brings us to the most recent chapter, consolidation. After buying Twitter and rebranding it as X, he launched his own AI company, XAI. The strategy then became all about rapid integration, with this plan to fold both the social platform and the AI company into the bigger SpaceX entity. It's a move designed to create this deeply interconnected tech empire, combining data, artificial intelligence, and physical infrastructure.
All of this brings us right up to today, and to the central debate surrounding one of the most polarizing figures of our time.
Yeah, public opinion on Elon Musk is starkly divided. On one hand, his supporters see a genuine visionary, someone who is literally accelerating the future and trying to solve humanity's biggest problems. On the other hand, his critics see an impulsive, often controversial figure who has gathered a dangerous amount of power across really critical sectors of our lives.
But no matter which side you fall on, his journey is just undeniable. The path from that kid coding in South Africa to the person sitting at the helm of this vast, interconnected empire is easily one of the most remarkable stories in modern business history.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? It's the one his story really forces us all to think about. With so much influence over the technologies that are going to define our future, is he simply building that future for all of us, or is he building a future that he alone controls? That's the question his legacy will ultimately have to answer.